Alrighty. Let's see if it's fixed. Really apologize, guys, for whatever's going on. I will speak to... I have a friend, Nate, here in the building who works on the IT and everything. So I will... everybody smash thumbs up so it doesn't freeze again. There you go. I'll speak to my friend Nate here in the building. It's 100 megabits per second down. And for some reason right now, I'm only getting 4 megabits per second up. Not sure why. Do apologize for that. But anyway, I'm just going to give it a minute or so to see if you guys can tell me if that works. I just turn the computer off, restart the computer, and see if that fixes everything. Maybe I'll add that in my checklist of just restarting the computer at the beginning of the stream. All right, it seems like you guys are saying we're good. Okay, Grand Roofing saying it seems good now. Queen said the devil cannot win, and he certainly won't. You know, if we're not careful, he'll win some battles, but he'll never win the war. It worked. Good. Good deal. All right. As I said, guys, we have no spirit of discouragement or fear. We're going to push through the challenges, and we're going to have meekness and know that it's all going to work out so long as we follow. As we were saying, if you set a plan, you will be in position to make the most of these trades. And so we want to go through the perception phase, the prediction phase, and the planning phase. And so the planning phase luckily gave us a trade setup that would have worked if you had have taken it because we were able to use those principles. So now I want to look back on some of the areas that maybe I have been wrong on the technical analysis side of things, and we'll look at where the market's likely going to go. Like I said, coffee and crypto is looking pretty simple right now. We're going to go through the 3 Ps. We're going to analyze the market. I'd love to analyze them. You're going to have an understanding of where the market is, have an understanding of where we think it might go, and then have a plan to get there and what to do about that. So let's talk about why the market may not have actually moved to the upside of the 55% likelihood. Of course, you know, there's always going to be a realm of uncertainty. And so sometimes it's just, look, you did the best you could as a technical analyst and you didn't miss anything. But I would like to look through and see if we missed something with you guys. As you know, I do my best to, and this is an intentional decision. One of our core values is intentionality. I prefer to, yes, I look at the market obviously as an analyst, not on stream, but I prefer to do the majority of my analysis that's actually going to show up on Coffee and Crypto so you can see my live reactions to things. You can see my thought process. You can see how I process things, because I believe that if I'm able to be an influence on you, you'll learn from me. It's kind of like I want to learn how to speak Spanish. It's one of the things I want to do. And as I study it, the thing that keeps coming up is the best way to learn Spanish or learn another language is to immerse yourself in the culture. Best way to learn Spanish, move to Spain for 6 months and have no choice but to figure out how to speak it, or you're not going to be able to do anything. Donde es el baño? Is over there. You know, you're exposed to it. So I want you guys to be able to be exposed to not just my resort. Here's how I found that. And so if I do that live, then I think that gives you guys an insight into how I'm able to do that. I don't just come up with the answer. I say, boom, this is how I'm going to do it. So again, what I'm going to do now, because I gave it a 55% likelihood that we're going to move up, 45% likelihood we're going to move down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through my analysis again, and I hope you guys will follow my lead on this and do this whenever you make a prediction and it doesn't go the way that you think it will. Again, the plan should be there so that you're covered on both ends. Whether your prediction's right or not, you should be ready for it. But if it doesn't go the way that you were expecting it to, because I was starting to lean in the direction of bullishness, then we want to know why. So a couple of the things that maybe I didn't give enough credence before I jumped in and said 55% bullish was that we had not technically seen a higher high just yet. We had seen nothing but higher lows. We did see I can go ahead and remove that. We did see a high here at 29,670. We did see a high here at 29,530. And then we also saw a high here at 29,520. Then we also saw a second lower high if you use the absolute highs on the candle bodies, on the candle wicks. And the market was in the middle of dropping. So perhaps I didn't give that enough credence. Perhaps with that in mind, maybe I should have said a 55% likelihood we dropped to the bottom, 45% likelihood we moved to the upside, because we simply hadn't set a new higher high yet. So that means that we hadn't started to break the trend. And so maybe I should not have put a 55% likelihood on us moving to the upside. That's possible. Luckily, as I said, the way that we do this, the prediction is not what determines whether we make money or not, because even though the prediction was potentially a little bit off, the plan still worked and you still would have made money. But perhaps the lesson that I could take away from this, again, I'm analyzing this live, I'm kind of thinking through this live, and so hopefully you guys can learn something from what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Looks like everything's good. Okay, cool. Then maybe what level of resistance? We still have not set a higher high even above this high. So I think that's perhaps the area that I should have taken more credence. Perhaps that was more important than the small bounce that we had here and these two higher highs. Perhaps the more important factor in why maybe I should have said 45% likelihood movement to the upside, 55% likelihood movement to the downside was because we had not set a higher high yet, which meant that we had not technically confirmed a new trend change. So I can kind of take that as a note now, and I can say, all right, I have now learned, wait a second, saying that the likelihood is, then I need to see a confirmed trend change. That's a principle that I can take back to consideration. I can take back in my continuing education, and I can think, all right, maybe that's something that I need to keep in the back of my mind. And if I'm getting, if I start to say, oh, it's a 55% likelihood we're going to move to the upside, but it hasn't actually confirmed a trend change, maybe that's me getting a little bit too excited for the bulls. Maybe that's me being a little bit too excited for the bulls, and maybe I need to wait just a little while and let it go. The prediction is not what makes you money. It's helpful to have the predictions, especially so that you can understand where the market's going to go, but what likelihood it goes in which direction is honestly more for just kind of honing your skills, because that's what it's doing right now. It made it, me saying it's 55% likelihood to the upside, 45% likelihood to the downside had no bearing on whether or not we made money, because we made the plan worked, you would have profited. Boom. That's the point. Okay, so I predicted with a 55% likelihood it was going to move to the upside. Obviously, I had good reason to believe it was bullish, as I outlined yesterday, and I wouldn't go back on that. I did have good reason to believe that there was bullishness brewing under the surface. But perhaps since we hadn't had a new higher high, I should have said that. So that's where, as I said, I can process, okay, my prediction wasn't quite where it should have been. I'm not saying it should have been 100% we're going to drop, because I didn't have that information yet. But maybe I can process and say, all right, I should get a little bit more confirmation, maybe wait for higher highs, maybe wait for an actual confirmation, rather than, wait, hasn't crossed bullish yet. 4-hourly chart had actually crossed bearish. So these are areas where we want to continue to look at this. But again, the good news is, whether you get a prediction right or not, the trade setups are just the same, and the prediction has very little bearing on the trade setups other than in the perception phase and the prediction phase, trying to figure out where the market would actually go. That's the important thing. If the market moves up, how far will it go? We're able to use that information that we gathered in the perception and the planning phase to set up the exit for this trade, for this short trade, and that short trade would have executed with profit. And so that's something that we can be pretty excited about. All right, so let me just check again, make sure everything's good. Lagging hard, unfortunately. Oh, man. It's awful. Goodness, I'm going to have to talk to somebody today about what's going on there. Really apologize for that, guys. Can you guys see me or hear me? Bro, the lag came back. Apologies. Can you guys tell me if it's still here? All right. I'm going to try and keep talking, but I'm going to keep checking chat every once in a while in the future. As far as by in the future, I mean like late, as soon as the stream's over. But I want to talk about a few other concepts here on the weekly consider. As you guys will know, until yesterday, I mean literally yesterday was the only time I've been bullish in the last 3 weeks, and then go figure the next day we end up dropping. Right, the 1 second that I turn bullish, even just slightly, is the one day the Bitcoin market drops. Because ever since July 10th, 3 odd weeks ago, I've been bearish, and I've been telling you guys that we're going to drop down to 28,545 or lower. And part of the reason for that, yes, has to do with this bearish RSI divergence. It is here. You can see it right there. The bearish RSI divergence shows up with these two local highs here. As well, if you look on the weekly chart, we just had a bearish MACD cross. I don't know that that's going to be a significant bearish MACD cross. It may be like the last one. We saw a bearish MACD cross, and then boom, it rallied like 3 weeks later. I think we'll probably see something similar here. I don't think Bitcoin's necessarily just going to drop down to like $22,000. What I will say, however, is that Bitcoin likely could use some more bearishness. So in the short term, let us not get caught up on whether it's going up or down on the short term. Let's remember that in the long term, there are some bearish factors implicating a drop on Bitcoin, and I would not be at all surprised to see Bitcoin plow through these levels all the way down to our uptrending level of support once again, so that it can set up bullishness moving into the next month, or actually this month. It's August now, so moving into this month of video with another plan. Perception, we've been talking about that. Market's dropping. Duh, we see that. There's bearishness, quite a lot of it. We want to try and have some kind of idea of what to do if the market does actually move up or down, because obviously it's going to move up, down, or sideways. So we can have a plan for up and down. Sideways, you don't really do anything. If the market's moving sideways, you just wait. But if it's going up or down, those are the two options. It's a two-dimensional market. Difficult, and I'll tell you exactly why. The levels that we are in the market would go if it broke bullish, because we are so bearish right now. The market has shown a lot of bearishness. If we were to break bullish here, I would use our next ceiling as 28,982. And then use the next level as 29,100. That gives us a tiny spot for a long position. It's there, but it's puny. it's puny. Joke is just interested in taking. So if you take a trade like this, it's about a 3.5x risk reward ratio. Two levels to look at are our first resistance and our second resistance are about 28,982 and then 29,109. Those are discerned from, perceived from levels previously. The first level is the level that we set as resistance at 4 a.m. today, and the other level is set as our local low yesterday on Monday at 4 p.m. and also as our double bottom back over here. That doesn't give us a lot of room. What I will also say is that if we drop down to the downside here, I'd like to see Bitcoin clear all of these candlesticks before we actually go into a short trade. So this is an area where I'm going to give you more of a no trade signal. What I will say is that if Bitcoin drops below 28,545 with confidence, and by this I say if it drops below its previous level of resistance, then use a very tight stop loss because we're in new territory here, somewhere right around here. You can place a short trade down here. But it's a little ways away. You see there's no trading that I've set up in here. If you go down to like the 5-minute chart, maybe you can find something, but the market's moving very quickly, guys. It dropped down to 28,545. If you don't remember, we predicted 3 weeks ago that it was eventually going to fall down to 28,545. We predicted here that it was going to fall down to 28,545. Why? The SEC's case against XRP was settled, and Bitcoin didn't rally. Bitcoin had the greatest opportunity in the last month to go through a major rally, and it didn't work. All right. This channel is getting better talking about trades and such. Thank you so much, Seek and Hunt. I am looking forward to finding kind of exactly what you guys need. Obviously, you guys need less laggy stream. Our upload speed is, Jason Owen said, maybe do a quick speed test, see what's up with your upload. The upload of the IT. We did just, I'm sure he'll appreciate, talk about technical analysis. We also talk about trading, investing, and financial sovereignty. Those are our 4 big topics. Pretty much everything I discuss on this channel will cover those 4 topics, and I take a biblical approach to each one. A person gets mocked, sits there and mocks and laughs at him because he didn't plan for how many resources it was going to take to build the tower. That right there is. Please go watch it for your sake. I can say that so confidently taught me, and I'm so excited to share that with you because I've seen. So I do appreciate that. I'm very sorry about the lagging, guys. I will go ahead and wrap it out so as not to just make your day kind of annoying trying to keep up with the strain. There will be more content coming out this week. Obviously, we'll be on Coffee and Crypto Live tomorrow, and I am looking forward to being able to continue building everything that we're doing here with you guys, and I can't wait to see all of your guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling. Got a real good feeling.